Hello, entrepreneurs, artists, and creators. This is Dave with Founder Dojo. Okay, I'm going to ask you an important question. Could be maybe the most important question. Do you know what you want? This is an overlooked question a lot of times when you start thinking about manifesting your desires, following spiritual advice, metaphysical advice. So I recently was involved in a really good program, actually, um, spiritual manifestation program, and I was learning all kinds of techniques in terms of how to get what you want. And as I got like 3/4 of the way through the program, I realized I'm jumping all over the place in terms of what I want. I'm just not clear at all about what I want. I'm going from one project to the next. And part of the problem for me, anyway, is my desire is to build a startup studio. In fact, I have a startup studio. The challenge that I'm having is getting it funded. And if you look at the studios that have been funded, usually they're anchor funded by an entrepreneur who's had a big exit. And I haven't had a big enough exit yet to self fund this thing. So I've been raising money for it, and I was able to convince some very daring angels to invest, but was not able to get bigger checks from institutional investors and stuff, just mostly because they don't want to invest in studios. They want to invest in what comes out of the studio. So that's fine. So I've kind of gyrated back and forth between focusing on just one product, one business, versus focusing on multiple businesses in parallel. And of course, you can focus on multiple businesses if you have a team and infrastructure and you're not doing it all yourself. But if you don't have that, and you're doing multiple things with a very lean team, it just doesn't work. You get stretched too thin. So as I was going through, here's the goal that I want to manifest. This is the thing I want. And it wasn't happening. And I realized like I kept rewriting this damn statement, like of what I wanted. So the first thing you got to answer is, what do you want? Do you really know what you want? And it seems like a simple question to answer, right? But it's really not, because, at least in my experience, what gets in your way is your lower mind arguing about what's possible, right? So I might want $1 billion, but that's so far from where I am now making, XYZ. It's a pretty big leap. And so your logical mind is going to be, well, how's that going to happen? If you're not, if you're making 50 grand, 100 grand, 150 grand, whatever it is, how are you going to go from that to $1 billion, right? Your logical mind is going to be like, that's never going to happen, dude. Be realistic. So, but here's the thing, you can do or be or have anything you want. So, if that is your passion, if that is the thing that drives you, is to become a billionaire, you can do it. You just probably can't do it by tomorrow. So, I find it helpful to have a target that's a little bit closer to where you are now, something you can accomplish in maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Because when you accomplish it, that'll give you momentum. So figure out like, what is the first step to make towards your $1 billion, the first milestone, and then take that step, because that's going to get you going in the right direction. So for me, yeah, for me, what I've been doing is letting go of the stuff that doesn't fit within my focus, but before that, figure out what my focus is. So there's a project it's been on the back burner, but every time I've looked at it, I end up creating a lot of excitement and momentum around it. And it's a marketing AI idea called C Value. And I've talked to about 8 customers about it so far. They all were interested. They all kind of validated that the problem exists, that they want a solution, they see the benefit of the solution, they need a solution. And so the next step is for me to design the mock-ups, which is what I've done already. What do the screenshots look like? What does the MVP do? How are we going to price it, etc.? And take it back to them and say, hey, here's what we came up with as a solution to the problem we discussed. What do you think? And so for that project, what I'm thinking is, okay, let's have those conversations. Let's get some new conversations going as well, because I think we need to talk to more than 8 customers. So we'll do some outreach, people who are analytical marketers in my network and connected second degree to my network. Get some more meetings, go through problem validation discussions, solution validation discussions, and propose pilot tests where it makes sense. And then, so I was thinking about, okay, what would be a good goal? A good goal would be 20,000 a month, let's say, in gross margin from these pilots. So the pilots are going to involve a bunch of IT level work. There's data mapping, data integration, data connectors. There's building out the business intelligence interface. And then there are steps to automate campaign changes. So it's a fair amount of work, but we'll run some pilots that will price this competitively and then figure out, like on an ongoing basis, what's going to add up to 20% or 20,000 gross margin. So let's say the gross margin on these things, should be 80, 90%. So let's just say rough numbers, we need 80,000 worth of pilots. So that could be one medium to large size company. It looks like, startups will spend something like 2,500 to 10,000 a month on a solution like this. Mid markets go up to more 50. So maybe we're looking at mid markets. We get 1 or 2 of these pilots going. Let's say it's 40,000 per month per pilot. We get 2 of them. It's 80,000. So that doesn't sound too hard. Just get 2 pilots. And if we can't get 2 pilots, customers probably don't want this thing, right? So that is a focused goal. And so if you follow the Napoleon Hill formula, you would say, I want to earn X percent by Y date by doing Z for these types of customers. So we want to earn 20,000 a month gross margin by selling C value pilots to analytical B2C marketing companies who want to improve customer profitability. Boom, that's it. So that becomes the one thing. Just the one thing. As someone who has chronic ADHD, I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to anybody else. Just do one thing. What would happen if I just did this one thing? And then you ask yourself a question, well, how long will it take to get these pilots? So for me, it's like, okay, I have 8 leads already. I can just go back to those customers. I could probably gen up another 10 leads in a month. So let's say 30% convert. So if we want 2 or 3 pilots, let's say we want 3 pilots, I just added to it. We want 10 solution interviews. So I'm going to get 8, most likely, or 7 right now. So I really only need a handful more. So let's say we have 15 solution interview conversations, right? Where we get feedback on the solution and we see if they want a proposal for pilot. Okay, so how long will that take? I think I could do it in a month, maybe 2 months. So, but I think we could do it in 30 days. Now you got pilot, you got to write a contract, etc. So there's some review, approvals, and so forth. So maybe to be safe, we say 60 days. Okay, so today is June 1st. Oh, happy June. And so give ourselves 60 days. So by July 31st, we're going to have 2 or 3 pilots. Okay, so that's it. So now that you have that frame, then no matter what comes up over the next 30 days, you just ask a simple question, which is, does this thing help me manifest that goal? Yes or no? And you got to think of yourself in terms of life force too. Like right now I'm walking in the woods, I'm going to the gym. Does that help me manifest that target? I would say yes, because I can't be operating at my best if I don't. Hello, how's it going? This kid's fascinated with my gimbal device. Yeah, if I'm not operating at my best, I'm not going to be able to have the best meetings and radiate the right kind of energy, entrepreneurial energy that kind of tends to attract customers. So yeah, you got to take care of yourself. So to me, it's indirectly contributing to my success. And then just generally feeling good also attracts other reality frames that are also feeling good. So 100%. Eating good food, health and exercise, meditation, all these things, spending time in nature, all these things give me life force. So that's important. Okay, so another question is, on a Saturday night, kind of bored, not sure what to do. Should I spend the next 2 hours watching YouTube videos? Is that helping my goals? Well, no. I mean, unless they're educational and you're learning something specific that you need to accomplish what you want to manifest. But if that's the case, great, use it educationally. But if you're just using it to kind of zone out, yeah, not really. So don't do that. So you see where I'm going. Okay, for me, the big challenge is, have existing project. How much time should I spend on it? I can't just walk away from it. So you figure out, how do I get that thing in maintenance mode so that it's not too much of a distraction? What guardrails can I put in there? What's the minimum amount of time I need to spend on it? Can I get someone else to do it? Can I hand this off somehow? Can I kill it? Stuff like that. And then new ideas that come in, like the next shiny object, next impulse that I get. If I'm not willing to abandon my goal on C-value pilots, I just need to say no to that. And just say no. Just say no, 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 no. Don't even think about it. If you're really focused, if this is really your passion, this one thing that you've identified, then just do it. And what'll happen is when you say no to these things, that's when the powers respond. That's when the force kicks in. And we got a jogger here behind me. So then you'll start to move mountains, right? So a lot of this is just alignment between heart mind, head mind, higher mind. And I've talked about this in other videos, but when those three parts of you are out of alignment, you're just fighting yourself. You have split energy. So you have to get totally aligned. So how would I apply that in this case with the C-value pilots? Well, my heart mind is like, hey, this is a passion. I've built analytical SaaS businesses like this before for one of my companies. E360 is an email marketing company, Bargain Depot's e-commerce company. And then I built a lead scoring product called Legit Lead. And we used to score leads for companies like DeVry. Anyway, I love these businesses because they're SaaS businesses and there are data revenue streams that come off of them. So you get kind of both SaaS and DaaS, SaaS, software as a service, and DaaS as data as a service. So I love them. And it's really, really satisfying when you close these deals and you start building out this awesome product with a great interface and great capabilities. So yeah, that's why I'm passionate about it. That's why that energy comes down from my higher mind. It's like, ooh, look at this, it's exciting, it's exciting. And then that resonates with my heart mind. And then the logical mind, you just have to kind of get it out of the way in terms of providing enough evidence that your logical mind buys in. Your logical mind is the skeptical one. Oh, you've tried things like this before. Oh, there's a competition out there. Blah, blah, blah. That's all. Those are all lies that your lower mind tries to tell you. So what I do is follow a scientific process called insight-driven iteration, where I run experiments and I collect data. And the data from these experiments helps me refine our business model. So it's valuable to do it, but it also gets my lower mind, my logical mind on board. So oh my God, I just walked into a bunch of water. The 8 customer interviews I did, the focus was, hey, do you care at all about lifetime value? Does it matter to you? You're not measuring it now. You're measuring CAC, you're measuring ROAS. Do you care at all? Why are you only measuring CAC and ROAS and lifetime value? So questions like that. So I wanted to fundamentally validate the hypothesis that people care about lifetime value and CAC as a measure of marketing efficiency. So turns out they do. And very few of them, at least the 8 I talked to, none of them were really measuring it. Definitely none of them were automating the insights that come from the analytics. So that's all being done manually still. So that was good. So my logical mind was like, huh, yeah, you know what? There's a need for this. Great. Then we go to the next step, which is, what's the solution? How do we know that people will want it? How do we know they'll pay for it? Well, let's show it to them and ask them to buy it. That's a good way. And if they sign a contract, you're like, that's more evidence. Logical mind is like, holy shit, we might have something here. And then we execute those pilots. We do it well. Customers are happy. Customers are excited. Customers want to expand more products, more channels, whatever it is. And then we're like, huh, that's cool. Let's get more customers like these. Where do they hang out? How can we tell them about it? And then you move on to path the customer's validation. So this is the progression. And by the time you get to that point, your logical mind is totally bought in. It's like, wow, I don't think this is a good business. I know it's a good business because look at all this evidence I have. So now your logical mind becomes an advocate, as does other people, employees, partners, investors. You've now got a great business with a great business model, with great traction. You can build it, you can sell it, you can deliver it, and you can do that over and over and over again in a repeatable process. And you know what that gives you? That gives you a awesome, successful technology business. So That's how it works, guys. But it all starts at the first step. And the first step was the question I asked at the beginning of this video. Do you know what you want? See you next time.